Yo, what's going on, everybody? In today's video, I'm going to be telling you how I completed TA3 so quickly. Everybody in the comment section, or I wouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people, I'm seeing a lot of comments in the comment section asking me to break down how I completed Team Affinity 3 so quickly, and I'll go ahead and do it. You asked for it plenty, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring it to you. But before I tell you how, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Please hit that subscribe button, show some love, and turn those notifications on so you know when every video goes live. And lastly, in the comment section, let me know how far along you are in TA3, and if you think this video ends up helping you. Obviously, you got to watch it all the way through, so let's get into it though. All right, so TA3, as you see, we're all the way complete. That's how we have so many cards. We'll go ahead and show you, if you haven't seen the videos of all the debuts I've been dropping, but I've been dropping a lot of collection card debuts. Saw all 90. We already have a Jose Ramirez, still got to get a Corbin Carroll and other cards, obviously. But set 3 collections, as you see, we're at already 190. But we did collect Austin Riley. Next up is the second choice pack, which is at 230. But there's only about, I think there's only like 206 cards available to collect right now. I could be wrong, but about 206 to 210. I don't know exact number, but nonetheless, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into how we finished Team Affinity so quickly. I can't even go into it. I can't even go into the program itself, because all you're gonna hear is that background noise of that lightning sound or whatever the heck it is, whatever they're trying to do. And it's quite a bit annoying. So we'll just talk about what we did to get ahead and get this done. So the first things first, I will say I have plenty of stubs, 1.6 million with a bunch of other stuff that I need to get rid of and sell. So that number is probably more like 2 to 2.1 million. But as you see, 1.6 million. So I always have stubs. How do I get those stubs? I use the marketplace. I flip cards off the marketplace. I've been doing it since MLB 15, Diamond Dynasty, then all the way through. Never have spent a dime on the game. Don't need to if you know how to use the marketplace. If you'd like to learn how to use the marketplace, I offer lessons. Please hit me up on Twitter at pitching_rebel, through DMs. My DMs are open, and just hit me up if you would like to inquire about the lessons. But nonetheless, how did we get through Team Affinity? Well, number one, like I said, we have stubs, so we do the exchanges, okay? I probably don't do it the best way possible with the exchanges, the most economical way possible, if you will, or the cheapest way possible. I just like to get it done, so I buy a bunch of 97s. Because they're 100,000 worth, 100,000 towards the exchanges. So there's probably better ways. The best way to do it, I would say, is to go to showzone.io. Again, that's showzone.io, and that's a very good website telling you a bunch of different things. You can do a bunch of different things, but one of the things is the cheapest way, the cheapest cards for how to do exchanges for Team Affinity. There's a subsection for that. So again, showzone.io. But for me, again, I don't do the cheapest way. I always have stubs. It's not a problem making stubs. So I'm impatient. I just rather go quick. So with that being said, we did the exchanges. Now, if you're somebody who doesn't have stubs, the exchanges are not for you, okay? Do not spend your stubs on exchanges, all right? Again, if you're somebody that does not have stubs, do not spend your stubs on exchanges. It's okay. Yes, it gives you like 27 to 30K towards it, which is quite a bit, but again, you don't have the stubs to afford that. You can't do it. That's okay, because there's plenty of other ways to still do it quickly. But yes, I did start off by doing the exchanges. That's how I got, the 27 to 30K. I can't remember how much it gave you this time around, right off rip, without even touching the Team Affinity. So that did help me, of course. But if you are somebody that has stubs, again, go to the showzone.io, look at the cheapest cards to do the exchanges. All right, so moving on, then we do the moments. Okay, we get rid of all the moments. I believe they're 1,500 per, so there's 5. 5 moments. That's 7,500 points towards TA. Okay. The reason why we do this, we get rid of the moments, is because we want to start building those points as quickly as possible before we get into the big stuff. And when I mean the big stuff is playing versus CPU. The second thing we did was knock out the 3 showdowns, right? There's 1 showdown per division, so 3 total. That gives you about, sorry for the noise, but I can't remember how much it gives you. So each showdown gives you 20,000 TA points. So now you've accumulated 27,500 TA points, right? And at this point, at 27,500 TA points, again, excuse me for the noise, it is not because of anything with the PC or anything like that. It is because as soon as I go into this, it makes that stupid background noise. But at 7,500, again, finishing on the moments will give you the first classic pack, okay? And then at 27,500, you'll end up getting a team captain. So if you finish the moments and the showdowns, okay, now you've acquired 2 cards per division, 1 classic, 1 captain, all right? And you're only 2,500 away from the next pack, all right? But 2 cards per division, now you have 12 cards, right? Because there's 6 divisions. So now you have 12 cards. In my opinion, you should have enough cards to be able to fill out your lineup. So all 9 spots should fill out your lineup. And then, so I would take 9 hitters, 1 for each position, okay? And then take 2 pitchers, 1 starter and 1 reliever, all right? So again, and I would take, for the pitchers, I would take 2 captains, okay? A starter and a reliever, all right? Captains, so you can get rid of those little missions that are, you know, 9 innings pitch or 12 Ks or whatever the case may be, or if it's a reliever, 3 saves and so on and so forth, right? So again, once you get the moments done and the showdowns done, now you have 27,500 points per division, and now you have 2 packs, 1 classic, 1 captain. Pick out of the 12, I would say pick 2 pitchers and the rest hitters, or you can even take 3 pitchers and the rest hitters, as long as your lineup is filled completely with 9 hitters, right? And with that being said, make sure you take at least 1 starter and 1 reliever, all right? Now that you've done that and you've gotten your guys, now you jump into Conquest, okay? There's 1 Conquest map per division. You have to play a total of 10 games because you have to beat all the teams for the 2 divisions, 10 teams. And once you finish that, you get 30,000 TA points, all right? And again, sorry for the background noise, but you're at 27,500, so you're in between these 2. With 30,000 more, you're gonna get another classic pack, another NL West, another captain pack, okay? And you're gonna end up right before the first boss, all right? You'll be at 57,500. So you're gonna get 2 more packs, so that's another 12 players you're gonna get once you finish, or another 2 players per division once you finish the Conquest map. And once you finish all of them, that's gonna be 12 more players. But again, when you're playing Conquest, okay, you're playing these Conquest games, you wanna start working those missions towards the first players that you acquired, right? And it may be some, for the classics, it's PXP, 200 for the hitters, 500 for the pitchers, okay? And then for the hitters, it may be hits, 10, it may be extra base hits, 5, or it may be home runs, 3, okay? Now, with the pitchers, again, the starters, it may be 12 Ks or 9 innings pitched. And then for the relievers, it's most likely 3 saves, or there's a couple pitchers here, like I think the Boston one and the Tampa Bay captains, they're 5 innings pitched, which is not bad at all. But you're gonna play the Conquest games trying to get those saves. That's why I tell you to get a reliever, because it's easy to get saves in Conquest because you've got 3 innings pitched, right? Now, the goal in the Conquest is to put up the most runs possible, right? Most runs possible. How are you gonna get the saves if you're putting up all these tons of runs? Well, for one, you could just say, okay, maybe there's a game I don't put up that many runs and it's a close game and I can get the save. Or you can get a save every single time, as long as, let's say it's 9-0, all right? You go into the last inning, you start walking guys in, all right? Once you get 3 runs in and the bases are loaded, you bring in the reliever. Now, because the tying run at the plate signifies it becoming a save opportunity, in the sense of if he hits a bomb, it's now 9-7. That's a save opportunity. If you brought somebody in, that would give you a save. Okay. So that's the easiest way, in my opinion, to get a save as well. But again, you could always just hold out, throw your 3 innings. If you're winning 9-0, you could pitch 3 innings with your starter to get, 3 innings with your starter to get, a third of the way of your 9 innings pitched if he has 9 innings pitched. Or if you got to get the Ks and you got, obviously the best you can do is 9 Ks, but most likely you're probably going to get anywhere between 5 to 7 Ks, on the better side 8 or 9. But again, always working towards mission in the Conquest. And again, if you just want to get a save every single time to knock it out right away, all you got to do is just start walking runs in and make it to where it becomes a save opportunity with the tying run at the plate. Okay, so if it's 9-0, all you gotta do is make it 9-2. Grand slam makes it 9-6. That's a save opportunity. Obviously, don't give up the grand slam when you bring in the reliever. I mean, if it happens, it happens. You still have 3 runs to spare. But as long as the tying run at the plate signifies that it becomes a save opportunity if he hits a grand slam, that counts as a save. With that being said, every PXP mission from the classic bosses, or every mission in general for everybody, whether it's a classic boss, a captain, or now they added the actual bosses, the Team Affinity bosses, the 97 overalls, PXP missions to that, it's 3,500 points. Okay, now you want to keep track of this. Okay, what I like to do is, what I did was, especially for the captain ones, all right, for the captain ones, I did a list. I wrote on my phone, on my notes section. I took every captain. It takes you like maybe 10 minutes to do, if that. Just write each division, put NL West, and put all the teams, and then next to it, or all you gotta actually, all I did was, my bad. All I did was let's say NL West. I put every captain's name, boom, 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 and I just next to it I put their mission. So if it was like the captain for Arizona, whoever it was, I think it was Brandon Webb. He's 9 innings pitch. I would put 9 innings pitch, 9 IP, right? And so on and so forth. All right, and then just keep track whenever you finish a game. Okay, I pitched 3 innings with Brandon Webb. I would put next to it 3, and then so on and so forth. That way, you're keeping track, and as soon as you finish them, you can remove them out of your rotation or lineup and put the new guy that you need in. All right, and then for the parallel progress, all you got to do is every so often, like if it's for a hitter, it's 200 PXP. You're probably not, unless you absolutely go off in like 6 at bats where you hit 4 or 5 bombs, you're probably not finishing it for at least 10 to maybe even 15, 20 at bats. Okay, especially if you're just hitting singles and there's nobody on base, you can't bring anybody in and whatnot. All right, so all you got to do is every probably like 3 games, 2 to 3 games, just go check that player's PXP, see if they finish to 200. For a pitcher, if you pitch 3 innings per game, they usually can finish it with anywhere between the 3rd or the 4th game. So again, every 3rd game, go check the PXP, but make sure you are checking every single time, not every single time, but every 2 to 3 games, you are checking to see if your PXP is done, because as soon as you finish that PXP, you want to remove them so you can get on to the next one. If you leave, even if you leave that person for an extra game longer than that's taking away time, taking away at bats or innings pitch from another person that has 0 PXP or 0 innings pitch or whatever the admission is, right? So you got to keep track of that, because again, time, you're taking away time from the other players. As soon as they're done, remove them out of your lineup. But once we're done with Conquest on each division, all right, we should have finished quite a bit of missions also. So that's also going to give us more points for Team Affinity, all right, which thus we're going to get more and more cards, all right. So once we finish Conquest, then we move on to mini seasons, all right. So where do you go to mini seasons? Just go to single player modes, mini seasons, and make sure you go into Team Affinity Season 3. All right, Team Affinity Season 3. So you go into there and you play your games. There's 28 games total for Team Affinity. Now, you don't need to play every single game to make the playoffs, okay? You don't need to. You don't need to win every single game to make the playoffs. All you need to do is win about 15 to 16 games to make the playoffs. That's the whole entire goal, is make the playoffs so we can win the championship, so we can get a bunch of vouchers. However, I found it where now it might be good to play to try to get, 25 of 28 wins. Why? Because you get 5 for every 5 wins in mini seasons, regardless regardless whether you're in the playoffs or in the regular season. You get 1 voucher for every 5 wins. So obviously, if you get 25 wins, you're gonna have 5 vouchers by the end of that season. Then you go into the playoffs. Okay, you're gonna get an extra 5 wins to win the playoffs, because it's best of 3 series, or best of 5 series, excuse me. So you gotta win. There's 2 series in the playoffs. You gotta win a total of 6 games. That's gonna get you another voucher when you win that 5th game. That'd be your 6th, plus all the vouchers you get for winning the semifinal and then the finals. Okay. With that being said, you also get a voucher for making the playoffs. In total, if you were to do that, which is what I did do that, you get a total of 12 vouchers. Each voucher is worth 4,000 TA points. So that's a total of 48,000 TA points. Okay, that goes a long way, whether you use, whether you're doing it towards one whole division, or if you're spreading it out, that goes a long way. Now, another thing you have to consider when doing mini seasons, yes, you're trying to get all the missions done and whatnot, okay? And the biggest thing is to get all the captain missions done, all right? That's the biggest thing, in my opinion, is get those captain missions done. But what we also want to keep track of, I'm going to show you right now, at some point when we're starting to get closer and closer, and we're starting to finish all these captain missions, right, is, again, sorry for the noise. It is, as you see, whenever I'm not in the Team Affinity division, it doesn't make this noise. Team build missions, right? So you get PXP. So for each team, if you're using those players, so if you use a team full of Marlins, you get PXP towards it, or just one Marlin, he's starting to build PXP towards the Marlins, right? And you get to 2,000 PXP, you're going to attain 5,000 TA points. That's quite a bit of TA points, in my opinion. So when we're starting to get closer and closer towards, or by the time we finish that first mini season, right, and we have all those vouchers, like, I did not personally use all the vouchers till I finished the mini season, okay? Because I'm still working towards, I was still working towards missions and whatnot until I finished the first mini season. All right, so, but let's say we finish that first mini season. Now we're gonna go and see, okay, where am I gonna use my vouchers? Well, you want to kind of be smart with it, okay? Check each division and see which ones have the most PXP towards each team build. So for example, let's say the NL East, you had, out of 2,000 PXP, you had 1,500 for the Braves, 1,700 for the Marlins, 1,200 for the Mets, 1,600 for the Phillies, and 1,100 for the Nationals, right? Well, we don't really need to use exchange, or needed to use a voucher on that division, because we are within grasp of 25,000 PXP as long as we use that team, okay? So when we're to jump into the next mini season, if we have to do a second one, then we would start using team builds along with the captains that we're trying to go after, right? So you would probably use a team of 3, 3, and 3, okay? So you would use 3 Braves, let's say, 3 Mets, and 3 Marlins hitters, and then whatever pitcher you are working towards and whatnot, okay? again, you want to make sure you're paying attention to that, because then you see the AL Central. Well, I hadn't used a lot of AL Central players, so my PXP towards each team build wasn't very high. Okay, well, now I could possibly start using my vouchers towards that, because it's going to take me a lot longer to get those 5,000 TA points trying to build PXP than it would with the NL East, because they're a lot closer on each team build. Okay, so that's a good that's a strategy that I like to use. Is I will use my mini season vouchers only on the divisions that I am not very close on team build PXP, and also the boss build PXP. That's another one. Again, excuse me for the noise in the background, but boss missions, for every 1,000 PXP of bosses that you get. So if you were to use a full team of NL East bosses, right, and you got 1,000 combined, you got to 1,000 PXP with them, now you would also get 5,000 TA points. So could you just imagine the NL East? You had all those. You were very close, not only on the team build, but also very close on the boss mission. Now that's, again, 5,000 more. So now you're at 30,000 TA points that you would be possibly getting, as long as you kept using those bosses and using those players from the NL East, as opposed to AL Central. You weren't very close. Why would I use my mini season vouchers on the NL East when they're very close on getting a bunch of TA points anyway? All right, you're basically wasting your time again with that, and wasting your vouchers. All right, so you have to be smart and cognizant of how far along you are with the PXP missions and the boss missions PXP in each division. Once you start, once you start getting these vouchers. Okay, and again, personal choice for me, just so that I can see that when I go into my next mini season, is I won't use my vouchers until I finish that complete mini season, so that I can strategically place the vouchers on each division that are lacking those PXP points towards the missions of the team build and boss. Okay, so with that being said, if you can, for me, it only took me doing the moments, showdown, conquest, and one full mini season of how I said getting 25. I got 25 wins. Then I just quit out the last 3 games, and then I finished, by winning the last 6 games of the 3 in the semifinal and 3 in the final. Okay. With that being said, it only took me 1, of course, because I had that extra boost from doing all the exchanges. Now, if you don't have those exchanges, you're probably going to have to jump into a second mini season. And I wouldn't say a third. I think by the time you finish even halfway through, started getting those vouchers. But definitely a second mini season. I think 2 full mini seasons would probably do it. The way I said, I think is the new best way to do it. It used to be just make the playoffs and that's it, because they never gave you vouchers for every 5 wins. But now they give you vouchers for every 5 wins. So that does help a lot. But anyway, again, I think this way of doing it is the quickest way. I mean, I got done very, very quickly. And again, you have to be strategic with the way that you use those mini season vouchers based off of the PXP that you've built towards each team in each division and each boss in each division, because you do get 5,000 TA points for getting, again, 2,000 PXP per team and 1,000 PXP for the bosses. So 5,000 TA points goes a long way. But that is the complete strategy on how I finished Team Affinity 3 as quickly as I did. I think that as long as you're keeping track of your missions and making sure you get those players out of there as soon as that game is done, that you finish that mission and put a new guy in, and then again be cognizant of how to use your mini season vouchers, you could finish it pretty quickly. Okay, anyway, I hope this video helped you. I hope you use these tips in order to finish Team Affinity 3 as quickly as possible. And again, if you don't if you don't if you don't agree with the strategy, it is what it is. I'm just telling you how exactly I went about finishing Team Affinity 3 as quickly as I did. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Love y'all. Peace.